Well, hello and welcome to the Gamers Roundtable. We've been gone for a very, very freaking long time. So if you join in again with us, thanks for coming back and saying hello again. We're the Gamers Roundtable. We're gamers that love talking about games. In case you're tuning in for the first time, we're going to talk about some news pieces, talk about what we're playing, and we're going to talk about later on our top 3 most influential games. They're opinion pieces, so they're our favorite games. Make sure to join in on the Q&A at the side. You can join in on any of the conversation we're having. I'll be keeping an eye on that so that I can see what you're talking about. We're going to go down the line, say hello to everybody. We've got some vets here from when we were doing it before and a couple new faces. So we're going to say hello to our familiar faces here. Hello, Sarah, and thanks for coming out and joining us again.
Hello, everybody. Token Lady here. Hopefully I do it justice.
And next to Sarah there, we have the lovely Eric Miller. Hello, Eric.
Hi, from America.
From our token American. And a couple new faces down the end there. Hangs out with our Let's Play crew a lot. We got Braden. Hello, Braden. Thanks for joining us.
How's it going, token teenager?
Token teenager. There we go. Everybody's a token. We're all special in our own way. And excited to hear what Adblock Adam at the end has to say. He's token.
Ahoy, hoy!
He's our token Canadian money guy. So thanks to the new faces for joining us. And I'm Leafax Brody, host of the show here. I'm going to keep these fools in line and make sure we keep talking about video games the whole time. But to start off, I want to see what these guys have been playing, so we can get an idea of what everybody's into. So we're going to start on the opposite end and go down to Adblock Adam. Adam, what have you been playing this past week? Anything new? Anything exciting?
I've been playing the wonderful game of installing a bunch of stuff on Steam and PS4 and then not getting around to playing it, like the Final Fantasy 15 demo and Type 0, which just came out. But in terms of actually playing, we've got our local LP stuff like Smash Brothers and Street Fighter, and been playing a bunch of Guilty Gear, but tons of stuff to play, not much played. Too many new releases to download and not play.
It's the classic Steam game where you download everything and never play anything.
Yeah, it's kind of worse when you get it like physical because it's there on the shelf mocking you over and over.
Yeah. Hey, you spent this money.
Pretty
much.
Me. All right, Braden, have you played anything new exciting this week, or any good old games?
Well, I had a tournament on Saturday, a Smash Brothers tournament at Land War X. I did terrible, but I was practicing a lot for over the week for it. I did end up getting to commentate, and that was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. I'll probably do that a lot more. And in terms of actually playing, I'm sort of starting to dial back on Smash a bit now that I really suck and I want to play some different games. The main one that I wanted to mention was Donkey Kong Country 2 Virtual Console was on sale this past weekend. And I'm like, okay, let's play it on the Wii U Virtual Console. I don't know how this is going to go. And the gamepad is tight for Virtual Console games. I don't know I don't know what's so good. Like, I have never played that game before. I'm killing it because it's so smooth and so easy to use on the gamepad. It's surprising that no one's talked about it yet.
Sorry, Donkey Kong Country.
I really enjoy.
That's the new one for the Wii, or is
no
this...
Donkey Kong Country 2 Virtual Console, the old Super Nintendo one.
Okay.
And maybe it's because I'm used to that terrible Super. On the gamepad. If you guys are looking to get like Virtual Console games, go for the Wii U because they feel great on the gamepad.
Just a bit of fair warning, there is supposedly a problem with a whole bunch of those where maybe it's because the systems are older, but like the NES ones, there is a shit ton of input lag, or I guess you could call it display lag. They might have patched that by now, but you can find some threads for like Super Mario Bros. Where it's at least 10 times the input lag of just running it on a PC emulator, but maybe they fixed it by now. I haven't played it.
Well, the reason I like it so much is that there feels like there's absolutely none on, but that's emulating Super Nintendo. I haven't tried emulating Super NES games yet.
Alright.
Okay, so it
But
could.
it feels, yeah. And I was playing it directly on the gamepad rather than on a TV, which also could be a problem. I'm not entirely
Okay.
sure.
Sure. Yeah, TVs would definitely add to that for sure. All right, well that's sweet. I love the Donkey Country games. Those are always good.
Yeah.
Eric, what have you been up to? What have you been playing? What's good?
I've been playing Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah, boy!
I actually just bought one. I just bought the first one too yesterday to GameStop because I only played the demo when it first came out and I totally forgot about it. Because I downloaded the original, the Resident Evil HD remake for 360, which is actually done very nicely, even though it's a port from the GameCube. Like the reconstruction that they did for the GameCube. Anyway, because it's coming from a, or no, was it for the GameCube?
Yeah, it was GameCube.
Yeah, it was, anyway, it's beautiful. I really suggest if you guys don't have it, it's like $10, I think. Like they did an amazing job with the remaster. So I played a little bit of that, then started playing Revelations 2, then picked up Revelations 1, so I have to play that. And through all that, I also picked up Terraria, which sucks balls. I hate that game.
You don't like
Damn
Terraria?
straight! Damn straight!
No, I played it for about 10 minutes and threw the CD off of my balcony out. I don't know where it is. It's probably down in the woods somewhere. I literally threw it out.
Yeah, I believe you too.
My 10-year-old cousin was all over that game when it came out, man.
That game sucks. I don't know who could get down with that, but I don't. Ugh.
I played it for a bit. I think I played it for maybe an hour, and I didn't think it sucks, but it just kind of felt like a poor man's Minecraft. Like I'd rather just go play Minecraft if I was playing something like that.
Right. Pretty much.
That's what I got from it.
Real dumb.
I know if Charles was here, I think he'd have some words to say with you.
Yeah, well, I don't really care
really
what
into
Charles has to say. But
some people like bad games.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. But I will say that Revelations 2 is really nice. I don't really like how it's chapter based. That kind of throws it off a little bit. I like how the Resident Evils are a little bit more linear. I mean, it got all fucked up all the way. Resident Evil 4 kind of changed that, but I don't really like how it's very, very story chapter based driven, and I wish it was a little bit more flowy, if that makes sense. It's not bad. I think Revelations 2 is actually very refreshing because 5 and 6 were trash.
Yeah, boy.
Yep.
So it's cool, I don't know. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, so.
So did you like how there's actually a revelation at the end of each episode?
I didn't really pick up on that, no.
Usually there's some sort of discovery or, I guess, revelation.
Oh, is that
something?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Isn't that in every book and thing ever, though?
But it's called Revelations. That's the funny part.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
There has.
Interesting.
Well, if there wasn't one, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
Where's the cliffhanger, dude?
So that's it for me.
Alrighty. We're on to Sarah next. Sarah, have you played any super sweet games recently?
They're super sweet to me. I've mostly been making use of this new guy, which is the new 3DS XL that I picked up.
Yeah, boy!
Oh, jelly.
So that's really sweet. I'm loving the better face tracking that it has because of the camera tracking your face. It's pretty sweet. So on that, I've been playing Pokemon, Omega Ruby, and also Majora's Mask 3D. So both of those are sweet. And then what I haven't played yet is my Amazon pre-order that came in today, although the game was released on Friday, and that would be Mario Party 10. Casual. What up? I'm excited to lose friends.
So I don't know if this is bad news, but apparently it doesn't work with like Wii U Pro controllers. You have to use all Wiimotes with it.
Lame.
Kind of expected from Mario Party, though. I wasn't gonna go hardcore with Marty, my Pro Controller, MLG.
Yeah. But
You
like,
don't take Mario Party seriously enough, then clearly.
yeah, like
I
N64
take Mario
style.
Party.
That's what I
I
want.
take N64 Mario Party seriously. I take that game more seriously than anything ever.
And that's not a Wiimote. That's a controller. Oh wait, that sounded bad.
So
The
yeah,
N64
those
controller
three.
wasn't fun.
How far are you in Majora's?
I have 2 of the temples clear, and today on my lunch break I got my 3rd bottle, so I can put fairies in there.
Further than I ever got.
Yeah, I'm really taking my time to explore because I've never actually finished it on N64. I always video game ADHD, like you were talking about, Adam. I just new thing.
Oh yeah. By the way, Bloodborne out tomorrow. Get it? Yeah. Probably won't be as good as
All right, my computer's a minute, so I think that was the end of the conversation.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Cool. And then I guess for myself, I just finally got back into GTA because Heist just got released. Finally, what is it? It's like years later, or something like that. So I'm playing, and it's great to play with friends. Like I think I did a heist and it took about 8 hours. So they're like full on raids that you're doing. There were 6 parts to it. You had to get things to do other things, and you're traveling through it. For fun, if any of you have GTA on the PS4, I need you guys to play with me because I need some more heist members. So that's what I'm going to. A bunch of new free content added on to it. So if you have Dying Light, you're getting a bunch of free stuff for that. I think that's pretty sweet. Developers have been really good with the game. I logged on the other day. There's a message saying, "Thanks for playing our game. We love you guys. We love that you support us." And so Techland, I think it is. Dying Light. Also, I need you guys to get that and play with me too because it's a super sweet game. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing. Am I cutting in and out at all? I don't know. I'm just
A little bit, but your video's choppy,
yeah,
but your commentary's okay now.
Okay. I'm gonna try to close some more tabs. I have almost everything. Currently, this computer doesn't want to work properly. All right. Well, we'll move on to some news pieces then. So I can start closing things off here. I'm gonna start off with a couple small ones here. Then get to the bigger ones. Arkham Knight got delayed. If anybody was looking for that, the new date is going to be June 23rd, 2015. So it's not too far off, but you're gonna have to wait a little longer for that. I don't see what it was for, but that's being pushed back.
Good.
Star Wars Battlefront. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be excited about this. Confirmed for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Okay.
Yes.
There are things I don't
Ready?
like, but I will hold my tongue for now.
I don't know if my question was heard. What's again on?
Brody's cutting in and out.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Brody.
Am I dead? Am I dead?
Maybe try turning off your video capture just for a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. If I can.
We'll hold down the video.
Yeah, Hangouts is just kind of causing troubles right now. Thanks, Hangouts.
Probably runs on
Anything
Google
on
App
Hangouts.
Engine.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't even do anything right now.
Well, we can
Camera's
kind of
off.
hear
Let's see
you.
if that helps out a bit.
Commentary is perfect now.
Okay, because my the Hangouts window just wasn't responding at all.
That's
When
weird.
I got off and it
So
stays that way.
I do have a statement about Arkham, kind of transiently related.
Okay.
So basically, I tried playing Arkham Asylum. I paid my full $60 for it, and I got partway through the game, and I got to a point where the little backglide just stopped working halfway through a hallway. And it just stopped working. And so I waited for a patch, and I waited, and then it turns out this was an anti-piracy measure that I was hit by on my legit purchased game. And that was the end of my paying for that series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Arkham series
wow.
has a bad habit of releasing very buggy games when they're not ready. So like Arkham, what was the last one? Arkham Origins, terribly buggy, just awful. And then eventually they came out and said we're not patching the game anymore after the last DLC was released, and it was glitchy. It was terrible.
So people on the Wii U for that one, they paid for the season pass and then no DLC. But yeah,
Who's
so
buying that game on the Wii U?
the few people. There's some of us. No. So yeah, that said, game played well. So Arkham City looked like it played well too. So this one,
Arkham City actually plays pretty good on the Wii U. I don't own it for Wii U. It's actually one of the games I need to finish on my PlayStation, but on the Wii U it does play well. I have tried it.
Sorry, go on, Brody. More news?
Okay. My question before I cut out was
No, that was very ironic.
Yeah.
Cut out.
Yeah, that's the last part. I could hear everything you were talking about, but you guys couldn't hear me. My question was, what system do you plan on getting it on?
Arkham Knight?
No,
Or
Star
Star Wars. Okay. Probably PC, just because I don't think I'll own a PS4 or Xbox One by then. Nothing. I mean, that would catch my interest to pick up one of those consoles, but so far there hasn't really been much that
I mean, you can.
wants
You can
makes.
I guess you could. That's what I'll do. I'll just start PS4s so that people get hooked, and then they end up getting one, and then I'll get Sony to pay me for getting people to buy their systems.
I don't think it works like that, but congrats on the chutzpah.
All I heard is you'd pay the system, and that sounds good to me.
So, yeah, I think I'll answer my part of this question.
No.
I would like to get it on PC because inevitably someone will patch out whatever restrictions there are. Maybe get some servers running on the side, but unfortunately, due to coworkers, I'll probably have to get it on the Xbox One because that's where they'll play it because they're traitors to me.
Fair enough. I'm not sure. I've never really been into the Star Wars games myself. I'm going to see more about the gameplay when it comes out and see if I'll be interested.
Have you played Battlefront specifically,
Eric, Sarah. No, I haven't. I haven't played any Star Wars games in my life.
Battlefront is very different from other Star Wars games. I loved that game on the PS2, Battlefront 2. I think you'd enjoy it, to be honest.
Yeah, again, as I said, I want to see more. I want to see some gameplay and stuff
Yeah, me too.
before I make my decision. But Eric, Sarah, are you into the game at all?
No, I bet Zach will buy it on PS4 though.
Good answer.
Good answer. Okay, two more news pieces I've got here before a couple discussions. One, a lot of people are talking about, but we all know Hideo Kojima, and Hideo Kojima's name has recently disappeared from all Metal Gear Solid 5 products, and it left a lot of people wondering what the heck was going on. I guess Hideo is going to be leaving. It's Konami, and control of any future Metal Gear games, but I'm pretty sure what I read was this is going to be the last one he's working on. This is it. That's it. He's going to tie the loops up, finish everything up, and Konami can do what they want with it from there on out. But he's being removed from any future Metal Gear Solid products that come out from for Konami.
He's busy making us Silent Hills.
Yeah, if only. So there's a little bit of an addendum to that. It wasn't just Kojima's name removed. It was all of Koji Pro and Koji Pro America, which was now turned into Konami US, or Konami LA, I should say. So it's not just him being removed, but his entire game studio being shut down and reshuffled around and all that. So he was, in fact, the VP of Konami, which raises a bunch of interesting questions. But yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see it, play out from here, where he goes from here on out. But it was for sure that this happened. It kind of weirds me out though, because it's almost like, to me, removing Tom Clancy from the name of a lot of any other titles like Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon. It's kind of the name that goes along with it. Like when you see I think Hideo Kojima as well. So it's kind of weird just having the name removed. Almost a brand at that point too.
So there's an interesting story I can tell, but first I want to check. Kyle, are you still here?
Eric? That one?
Sorry, Eric. Oh, yeah. Why did I say Kyle?
I think Eric is getting his food.
Okay. So there's an interesting story of a company called Sega of America. Back in the 90s, they had a guy working for them called Tom Kalinske, who came over from Mattel. He was
I know the story.
Oh yeah. So he was effectively in charge of Sega of America because he was put there to revitalize their brand in America after the Mega Drive did terribly. So, or sorry, not the Mega Drive, the
Saturn. Or
no,
32X specific.
No, the original console, Master
really?
System.
Oh,
Yes.
Master System.
So Kalinske came over and he did a magnificent job with the Genesis. He revitalized everything, and he did so while ignoring the entire board of Sega Japan. He only paid attention to the CEO, and they had the chairman, I should say, and he had special talks with them and so on. This grossly, supposedly, according to him, aggravated that board, and eventually they shuffled things around such that Kalinske's plans for their future consoles were put in the back burner, and he was relegated to some back office job. And so they brought in Bernie Stoller, and the rest is the tragic history of Sega. My point with that story is that you see a lot of things that seem to be based out of spite with these traditional gaming companies, and they seem counter-capitalist. Now, there's probably a lot of things I don't know there, but it's possible with Konami that they're just doing this to spite Kojima. Maybe that's a bit too pessimistic, but I'm a pessimistic guy.
Yeah, who knows what happened at the higher level too? So it very well could be them just saying, "Well, screw you," or take. But I don't know. But they would do that again as a.
Brody, I'm afraid you were having some network issues.
This computer, I think I just need to restart it, but I can actually after mentioning this Nest article, so I'll drop out for a sec, let you guys discuss this. But Nintendo, some more Nintendo news, and this is what's been said about it a while, and I think it needs. But Nintendo is finally going to be moving into the mobile mobile industry. Yeah, so Nintendo finally confirmed today it will be making the leap to mobile game development as part of a new partnership with DeNA. DNA. Yeah. So I guess this is from their statement. It reads, in order to create completely new game experiences for smart devices, all Nintendo IP will be eligible for development and exploration by the Alliance. As these consumers enjoy this unique kind of gameplay found only with Nintendo, they will have the opportunity to explore even more premium experiences on Nintendo's dedicated video platforms. So what I get from it is they're kind of going into the whole thing, the whole mobile industry, with the idea that they're using it as a means to market the games on their actual systems, and that is kind of their goal. They've been trying to figure out a way to, but they want to use it as a marketing tool more than anything. So I don't know what. I guess we'll start off. We'll start with Braden, because I know he was I think talking about this before. What are your thoughts then, Braden, on Nintendo moving into the mobiles? Are you excited? Think they should stay away? What's your thoughts?
I definitely think that if Nintendo was going to move into the mobile market, they should make it as separate as possible from their. So, not that they have any great limit of resources, but I think putting too much resources into trying to make amazing games for mobile devices would be sort of a waste.
Reputation.
Well, how to
Sorry,
say? Basically, am I cutting out?
Oh, you're cutting in and out.
You're cutting out too.
Oh wow, that sucks.
Sorry. It seems with mobile games, it's whatever the most random, addicting thing is out there right now sort of becomes the the next big thing. So anybody can go make a game that's cool, like Flappy Bird. That's the greatest example. Could just go make this game out of nothing and suddenly be popular. If Nintendo was going to go in here trying to make an amazing game, I think they wouldn't get much out of it. I think they would need to. I'm pretty sure this is what they're going for anyway. They would need to use the mobile systems as sort of a bridge to their home consoles, rather as another platform for. That's my thoughts on that. Also, at that same press conference that they announced that, the other thing I wanted to say was that the Nintendo NX, it seems incredibly random for them to announce something like that, and I sort of suspect that it was just some sort of ploy to increase stock value right after that announcement.
Or play safe concerns from gamers, yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, they're probably early in development, but with such little information, it sort of makes me a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, that was super strange.
Yeah.
If you guys don't mind me taking this next one, there's a bit of information that's been left out so far. So part of this deal involves a bit of a stock swap where Dina gets 1% of Nintendo, controlling interest, standard stock, and Nintendo gets something like 25 to 35% of Dina, not quite controlling. In addition to this, Sony used to be looking at the same deal with Dina several years ago, but they backed out due to financial reasons. Another very important thing is Nintendo has elected Dina as the architect and, I guess, maintainer of their future account and infrastructure, online infrastructure systems. So presumably their next gen and their new account system that is leading to the cancellation of Club Nintendo and all that is being built by Dina. So this had to have been in the works for a while, and it makes me more suspicious of the claim that they're just having IP sharing, because like they're getting Dina to build a whole huge system for them to use for their future platforms. That's not trivial. That's got to come with some cost. So if you've looked at Dina's backlog of games, they're mobile games. They're what you think of when you think of mobile games. So I don't know what to think here.
I expect some sort of what's that one Temple Run like Mario style?
Yeah.
I expect something like that to start to lead off the chase there.
No, what's happening?
I mean, well, I think so. So I read something in that article too. Someone was mentioning they've been sending emails to Nintendo and through emails, like they've been trying to convince them that how easy it would be to translate something like the original Super Mario and just and I don't like this at all, but have users pay 99 cents to make Mario jump higher or something.
Oh yeah, their shareholder said that. The shareholder.
Oh, I read that. Yeah. That was a
And,
while ago. I read that actually.
Iwata basically made fun of them. It was pretty good.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's I think a lot of the games would translate well into mobile. But again, as I said, Iwata wants this to be more of just a market to their premium games that are on their systems. So I don't know. I like obviously Nintendo is making a big jump into this, as you said, having an entire just a platform being built for them. I don't know. I think it's going to be a long stay. Like Nintendo's going to get more involved in mobile than just beyond marketing.
They already do have mobile titles, by the way, like a Pokemon thing.
Which one's that?
They have a couple of mobile apps already. They're mostly for the purpose of like, here's a Pokedex, now go buy Pokemon.
Yeah, they do have that. It's kind of like the Pokedex 3D on the 3DS.
Yeah. All right, and on the 3DS they also have like Pokemon Shuffle and stuff, which is or like the new Pokemon Puzzles and Dragons. So.
And I remember actually there's been a few times Nintendo has also tried to make other jumps into kind of the mobile area with just marketing. I remember with Google they had I think it was April Fool's last year. They had you could go into Google Maps and find Pokemon littered around Google Maps, and you had to click on them to capture them. And I think it was it's a marketing.
That shit was cool.
I found a Greninja in one of the hotels in Las Vegas when I was visiting there. That was awesome.
That was an amazing marketing campaign. I don't know why they did it, but it was pretty cool.
Very clever.
And well, you also look at I think it was FIFA or something. Like Pikachu was like one of the official mascots or something.
Yep, of one of the Japanese teams or something, right?
Yeah, and so Nintendo's just been trying a bunch of weird, different marketing tools that seem to be working, at least getting the word out that they're doing weird stuff. But I think that's they've always been trying to get into mobile with it being a marketing tool instead of being a full-out, we're going to make games and stuff for it. So I guess it makes sense to pull in Dina to be able to do that for them. Because I was just looking up again. Dina is just pulling from the Wikipedia, the description, is a provider of mobile portal and e-commerce websites based in Japan. It owns the Mobash platform, which is one of the most popular cell phone gaming platforms in Japan. So it makes total sense to pull someone else in to do that for you, as long as I guess they keep their vision of it just being a marketing tool than anything.
So the thing Dina's designing too is not just like for mobile. It's their next handheld and their next home console online infrastructure. That's what Dina's building.
Well, someone else needs to do it because Nintendo's not doing a very good job
That's
right
my
now.
fear, though. Nintendo's not bringing the expertise in to learn how to do that. So
yeah, that's true too.
Sorry, we kind of railroaded over. But Sarah, what's your opinion on all this?
If you can pay 99 cents to make Mario jump higher, I'm giving up Nintendo for the rest of my life. Like, no.
Yeah.
I was
I'm pretty
worried
sure they're
how
not
the second
going with
half was
that.
going.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were going to be like, yeah, sign me up. I'm like, no. Yeah, no, I think, again, as you said, Iwata basically laughed at that, but it was, if that happened, I think a lot of people would be jumping ship. It'd be a very bad decision.
If I can take the reins for a couple seconds, we talked about how Nintendo is going sort of trying new stuff and more out there things, and that's sort of that is sort of unlike them because usually they're very traditional. But on top of that, they're also
I lost you up there also.
very bold.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I need to start turning off my other windows and stuff. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
On top of them trying new out there stuff, they're also still very, very bullheaded in some of their policies, and as just sort of like the family thing. They're still very traditional and not sort of with the times on some very important things, like DLC, like online. Like they've had some very bad online for some games. Even Mario Kart, which runs not very well organized online. I feel like it's like the Google Maps Pokemon thing, which I really enjoyed. I still feel like they some changing to do if they're going to start keeping up a little more.
I think it's good to see Nintendo at least trying now to step away from just the traditional routes, because I think they've realized that it has. And you look at last year, it put them in a very bad spot. Like they weren't doing too well. So I think them trying to branch out and finally accept that, okay, this is the way the world's going. This is what's happening. I think it's good for them to be able to do that. I think we'll see a lot of other things change with them too, the other traditional values they have. But it's still going to be a Japanese company at the end of the day, right? They're going to stick to a lot of their the tradition of what made the company that in the first place.
I feel like it's when Iwata steps down that some of that change is going to start coming. To be honest.
Yeah. No.
Or if no, actually that's not true. I was gonna say if they lose Miyamoto, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna change anything. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Iwata forever. Now you traitor. Love you.
Yeah.
He's been steering the course properly. Not his fault. Everyone else is competent.
Evil laugh. So I don't know. Maybe just to conclude, we'll go down and ask Sarah. I know you're a super Nintendo fan. Do you like seeing Nintendo moving to the mobile network? Are you gonna? Obviously they're not gonna do some stupid things like that jump higher with Mario thing. But do you like that they're doing this, or would you rather them stay to their own consoles and keep it traditional?
I think that they should do whatever is going to push them to make great console games. If it's bringing in more fans so that they can have more revenue to develop the next great Mario, Donkey Kong, what have you, totally a fan of that. As much as I love Mario, I'm totally hearing an echo, by the way, from someone. I will probably not play it. I'm really not that into mobile games. When I do, it's like a puzzle that I can play for 2 seconds, and that's it. So if it furthers the console vision, I'm down for that. But otherwise,
so do we want to place a bet on this?
On what they end up doing?
No. I don't think any of us can win this bet of I bet I won't play their mobile game.
Nope. Not a chance.
Not
a chance I'd win that bet. Not a chance I'd win that bet.
Yeah, everyone would play. It's just guaranteed.
It's curiosity.
Time to get Nintendo stock.
See what they
I
did.
wouldn't pay though. That's the thing. I don't pay for mobile games. It's not.
That's right.
Something to do.
It depends. I pay.
That's right.
I'll pay for a mobile game as long as I'm not going to be pushed to buy, for in-app purchases and stuff like that. Like if I paid $5 for games before.
That's buying the game. That's different than pay now to speed up.
But I will not buy add-ons or any in-app purchases really that get this to get some extra levels and stuff, or get as we said, make Mario jump higher. Never, 100% will I ever do that.
Even still, though, I've only ever bought one mobile game, like purchased a game, and that was Plants vs. Zombies. Thank you, EA, for that one. But
Bobcat.
nothing else. Yeah.
They were then bought by EA.
True, that was pre-purchase.
One last comment before we go out on this. I don't know if anybody's played the Mega Man port for iPod.
Oh god! Oh god! No!
It's so difficult. It's one of the main reasons. It's the main reason I hope that like Nintendo. The one thing a Nintendo really should do is port Pokemon. I don't know how possible that actually is. They definitely shouldn't be importing Mario or anything.
Hey man, just $5 for a Master Ball. So, so yeah, I want to diverge. I want to diverge for a second. That Mega Man port. You guys, if you haven't seen it, you don't understand how bad this is. It has worse graphics than the Super Nintendo version somehow, and it has loading screens mid-level. Loading screens in a Mega Man game. Think about that for a second. But then, oh man, you pay $2 to buy an energy capsule at any time. Like, holy crap. Holy crap.
It's terrible.
Really?
The worst I've ever played.
That's so bad.
See, Sarah
and
had
even other than that,
so disgusted.
Yeah. Even other than that, there's also been a Mega Man 2 port, and that's just like it was just straight game, but it was so hard to play. It was impossible.
I'm thinking of that episode where Homer's just screaming for like 3 minutes straight.
Also, quick rant on in-app purchases in mobile games. Maybe it's been out for a while, maybe it's not, but one of our the classic games called Peggle recently, I guess, got released on mobile.
I was shocked how popular that is.
Love that game.
And once I saw that it was EA, I wasn't surprised that at the end of every section, it either forced me to, I think I could buy the next ones, or I had to like share it with my friends. Like it was forcing me into social integration, which I refused to do, to be able to play the next levels. Otherwise, I had to wait 5 minutes or 5 hours.
Are you talking about Peggle Blast?
Peggle Blast. Yes.
Oh wow, yeah, that just came up. Oh wait, never mind. Hold on.
I love Peggle.
Peggle Blast is bad though.
It is.
Peggle Blast. How bad this game was. Like it's straight up designed. Like it's like literally.
Oh yeah,
designed
this
to make
actually
you pay
came
for
out last year.
Or share it with your friends so they pay for stuff.
I don't know. I got
Okay,
to like
so I just started
level
playing it,
80 without
and I'm like,
anybody's help.
Came out in like December, I think.
Yeah. But guess what? You have to, if you want to play right through it, 5 hours, or share it with your friends on Facebook.
Or you just wait 3 days and then more levels unlock. Like play something else.
But why should I have to wait to play the game?
Because they're taking something away from you, so you feel butthurt. So you give them money. That's the whole idea.
I have shared an article with the chat room that you should review at a later date, if you haven't read it already, that answers all of your questions.
Is it like the psychology of in-app purchases?
Yes.
You guys should check out actually a really great blog that I love. It's The Psychology of Video Games, and he talks about so many cool things. Like he talked about what is it? Those like loot caves in Destiny, and like the psychology behind that. Oh man, it's so good if you're interested in that aspect of game development or sales and stuff.
Yeah, I remember first kind of paying attention to the psychology side of things back when I heard that Activision had hired psychologists to work on the Call of Duty games to figure out what would make people continue playing it and be hooked on it.
Yeah, they're behind the times.
That's why it started becoming arcadey. Like, you know, you got 100 points per kill. You just see points popping up everywhere. Like it was meant to be like you're gambling in a sense. So a lot of games are designed around the psychology side of things. No. And so I started paying more attention to that. Yeah, after I'd heard that. That was a few years back.
So, what's happening with Eric, man?
Yeah, we lost.
I think Eric is DED, straight up DED.
Does anyone have a private message with him of some sort? Like phone number, text message, whatever. See if he's still available. I think he has valuable insights as well, so.
You got this
No,
guy's
he
name
does,
wrong,
I just-
and yet you think he has valuable insights. That's faith right there.
Listen, I might have drank a Four Loko or two, okay? Things happen. And now it's time for Steamless.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've linked an article in the GR
Yeah.
chat. I'm not sure if we have a public chat I should use instead.
Showcase.
I'm gonna link that in the showcase. So anybody will be able to see this pop
I know.
up. Okay, open the showcase.
Well, if psychology guys have a podcast,
Yeah,
I will
link
have
it to
to
that.
listen.
There you go. The website link did you just give me? Cool. So I have one more discussion before we get to our top threes here.
I'm excited for this.
Is why hasn't gaming evolved? So
Oh
Recently-
boy!
there was
South by Southwest.
evolved to woo more players. I guess that where was it? South by Southwest. There was a panel. People in the industry, and they were asked the questions. You know, why isn't it expanding? Yeah, the industry is one of the biggest in the world. Beyond the people that start expanding to new people.
So I have
They have their user base. They've just become kind of the different systems and my question to you is, why hasn't gaming evolved? Why are new people not being pulled into the industry as core gamers? Why is the same set of core last 5-10 years? Like what's needs to change? Point. A couple points the article makes is females are 50% almost of the market.
Oh man.
Stuff like that. So I want to hear your guys' input on what.
Can I take
And
this?
I've heard Adam kind of piping up.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
I'll
give
take
you
it later. Adam can start.
First go on.
Oh man. So I only have 5 minutes, but I typed up a few points for this. Okay. So I'll try and burst through these. First of all, that 50% statistic is 50% of mobile, freemium, and Facebook gamers all combined are female gamers. No shit. It's split amongst the population. The issue is, well, why aren't they in normal gaming and so on? That is generally answered by the same reason that the idea that women and minorities are ignored is answered, is that while there are unexplored markets, it's a ridiculously simplistic view to think that they're being specifically not targeted. It's rather that the industry as a whole doesn't go for creativity. You go for maximum immediate shareholder value. So things like risk-taking and creativity, you actually don't see that much from AAA devs, right?
Yep.
You see it more from the indies and maybe some more obscure Japanese developers and stuff like that. You see it more from the Italian startup scene, which is amazing, right? They have so many cool things, but it's mostly in Flash, so nobody hears of them. So you don't see things that feature a minority protagonist or a space Australian kung fu kitten as a protagonist, because that doesn't sell to the shareholders immediately to justify starting a project. At least from what I've seen, it's purely a money thing and a agreed thing at the corporate or the C-level executive level, so on and so forth.
Which is also mostly men. Sorry to interrupt.
It varies, but yeah. there's a huge problem with that, for sure. The next argument that prices are too high in that article is factually incorrect.
Damn, prices are too high.
Yeah, the rent is too damn high. So that's actually factually incorrect. Up until the PS1, prices were actually much higher than they are today, especially after you adjust for inflation. They also varied wildly. The issue is that the PS1 Sony strategy was to drastically lower the price of games. That's why the PS1 itself, as hardware, launched cheaper than the N64. The thing is that we are just slowly over time reverting back to the price of games. Like, people like to refer to the Monkey Island screenshot that says never pay more than $20 for a computer game, but Monkey Island cost more than that, and $20 was worth a lot more back then too. So that's factually incorrect too. Core gamers haven't expanded is patently false by the sheer fact of how many young people are playing these days. Like, you go on Call of Duty, you don't hear very many adults talking on the mic. That's a specious example, but to get into the real examples takes a shit ton of time. The best example I would say is Arrow to the Knee and how big that got compared to how big most of the things with Oblivion got. It's no contest. That shit is much more widespread pop culture than it used to be for such a niche genre. There's the argument that games aren't as easy to learn as Super Mario Bros. The trick with that is, while games aren't necessarily easy to learn, the real problem is that we've been conditioning gamers in general. People have been conditioning gamers to give up quickly and not to try to learn the games. Like, that's what you see with most games these days, is you get rewarded really fast, success or failure, and so you don't really get punished for not learning, right? You don't really get coerced into learning. You can go on to immediate gratification. There was a study recently where a bunch of teens and children were sat down to play a bunch of games. A modern, complex puzzle game that actually gave them rewards very frequently, and Super Mario Bros. On the NES. There was a bunch of other games. But suffice to say, half the kids couldn't beat the first level of Mario. A lot of them died at the first Goomba, and they couldn't figure out that you just jump on it.
It's actually pretty nuts, yeah.
Who's raising these children?
Yeah. So just one more thing. There's the statement that The Sims was designed for women. That's not entirely true. Follow-ups to The Sims, it's stated that they sort of targeted maybe women or the average gamer more, or whatever. But the original Sims was Will Wright's thing of designing for anyone, right?
The original, yeah.
Yeah. So my favorite article in reference to this is the E3 secret gay marriage feature of The Sims. There's a story about how it was actually a bug where you could, like, it was either sex or marriage with another character of the same gender, and they left it in because they didn't have enough time to change it, and it made it the hit of the show at E3, right? Like, they weren't targeting a specific demographic with that. They were just trying to make a game as dynamic as possible so anyone could play it and have fun, right? With the sequels, well, yeah, they targeted different people. The DLC makes that clear enough. Like, if you've ever looked at the list of DLC for The Sims, oh my god.
The list of DLC for
the expansion
for The Sims is way too long.
Oh my, sorry. Yeah, so the lesson to be learned there is that you gain, and this is my whole lesson with all of this diatribe, I'm sorry for the soapbox, but my lesson is that you gain the biggest audience not by targeting an ideology or targeting people, but the core to gaining new core gamers and new gamers of all stripes is to let your developers experiment without the guiding hand of your top-level ideology or your top-level marketing executives. Let them be creative, and they will naturally gravitate towards controversial or unexplored territory. I want my Kung Fu Space Kit.
It's true though. Like, if you give the developers, you have more, instead of one mind controlling all the creativity, you have many minds, and you're going to come up with more things, right? One point you made there, I may disagree with about the core gamers thing. I think the arrow to the knee kind of example may have less to do with there being more core gamers and more to do with the fact that social media is more prevalent, and that it was easier to spread memes like this. I know people spreading the meme that don't really play games. They play on their phone here and there, but they heard of the meme, they knew where it was from, and they thought it was funny.
And those people would never buy the game?
Yeah, no, they're people that they might buy Call of Duty and that's it because it's
Right.
a frat game, right? So
But that's what I mean. They play games. That's the whole trick here.
I guess, but when you think core gamer though, that's not necessarily what they are.
So
And
then what is
that's
a
kind of
core gamer then?
I would say a core gamer is someone who revolves a lot of what they do around gaming. A lot of their friend and social network has to do with gaming, and it's people that are genuinely interested in maybe not the industry as a whole, but what's going on with games in the industry. Like, when's this game coming out? What was the story like in this game? And maybe not so much people that just will play Little Big Planet because it's a fun game their spouse plays.
So,
right? So
I don't like ad hominem much, but I should point out that the guy, I believe the guy who made this statement was the core gamer statement was the guy at Blue Point Games, the head creative designer.
Mhm.
And if it sounds a bit weird because Blue Point's two sets of games are extremely niche, like indie game style stuff like Flower, and ports of existing AAA games to new platforms, like the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. So I'm just curious as to what kind of data he was making his conclusions off of, because I'm not aware of any data set that supports his conclusions. That's ad hominem, but I sort of had to say that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. What was the other one I had? Just on that too. I completely forget now. So I don't know if Sarah, you want to maybe try to answer the question. Why, what are your thoughts on the article then as a whole? Do you think it hasn't expanded much, or it has? Is there anything we need to do to reach out to new gamers to pull them in? Or the industry to pull them in? What's your thoughts on the article as a whole?
Well, the one thing that I thought was the most interesting, which maybe isn't directly related to whether or not there's less gamers or more or whatever, but the idea of needing a 45-minute tutorial and to download a patch before you get actually into a game is a barrier to entry that didn't exist when we started playing games. It was pop in a cartridge, fiddle with it a little bit, maybe blowing it, and then you're good to go, and you don't get taught anything. And like Adam mentioned, that whole you need to fuck up and fall in a hole or hit a Goomba to teach yourself, and it is way more valuable that way because it's like intrinsic motivation. It's not just like, ooh, you get a badge, congratulations. And so I feel like that really is lacking in a lot of ways now, and that creates a big barrier for people who want to get into it. So that was one thing I thought when I read that article and was reflecting on it. Secondly, this is more like a personal point, but some gamer culture can be really intimidating. I mean, I know when I walked into the first Let's Play Smash thing, I was like, holy shit, I'm so out of my league. I'm never mean anything to me anymore. And so there's an intimidation level as well, which is not a criticism necessarily, but those are things that make someone potentially less likely to get into it.
Yeah, I think you made that was one of the points. That's the one I forgot. 100% agree with the games being either too hard to get into or too easy. I remember I wanted to play some GTA before going to work the other day, and it took about 15 minutes just to get into the server with my friend to be able to play the game, and I had half an hour before work. I can't now do anything in the game because it took half my time that I had to play or get into the game initially. I mean, that's one of the reasons, back to psychology, why Call of Duty is so addictive is because it's so quick to get into a game. You press a button, you're into a lobby within like a minute and a half, and then there you go. But it's still
they've streamlined that.
Yeah, it's really fast. And so it's easy to get hooked. You're like, all right, I got 10 minutes before work. I can get 2 matches in. Let's go. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, GTA, I don't think it'll load before I have to go to work now.
Yeah, that's right.
So you look at old games like I'm going to use the first thing that comes to mind, Smash Brothers Melee, because turning that on, getting into a match, it's really fast. It takes maybe like a minute to get into a match and start playing. Where a lot of old games have that, and I think newer hardware, the games have been bigger, and they're just people trying to push the limits of everything. That's what's slowing it down. There's a lot of extra stuff added on. There's social layers. You have media apps trying to load while you turn your system on. I think that slows it down, and that's what makes it very inaccessible. Is that if someone wants to play, you're like, hey, check this game out, and they got to wait 20 minutes before you're playing the game with them, they're not going to be too impressed. So it's hard to pull people in when it's that inaccessible. Whereas mobile games, I can turn my phone on and be into a match, or like be into Peggle in like 20 seconds, right? And start playing. It's easier to do that, and I think that's why mobile's been pretty prevalent. Is because of how accessible it is. So you made a good point on that. That it's hard to get into because everything takes so long to load. Braden, what are your thoughts on just overall that article then and evolution of gaming?
So people brought up stuff that I was already thinking about mentioning. My main one being, luckily not mentioned, is that I think that the community has become. I can't exactly say they've become more hostile, but I think social media has sort of base of the more hostile side of the community.
You shut your mouth.
I promise this links in a brief social media tangent. It sort of makes
If you say the word, I'm out of here.
Things. So it sort of makes bad things about what's cool and what's not, and the hostility and bullying. It makes stuff that already clear to see. So cyberbullying is all over the place because it's right online. You can easily make fun of someone, and it's very very risk-free. And I think that sort of has extended to games being played online and games with high skill ceilings that are become very competitive. That's why in the Melee community, people are generally very nice in person and trash talking on the internet. Games like then you have games like League of Legends, which I just started playing, Blasphemy and all that, whatever.
That's right.
I don't know. I like it, but people are sometimes nice and nasty on there because I'm brand new. I can't, and people have been very mean to me for that, and I'm just trying to explain as best I can. I don't know what I'm doing.
I would argue that the League of Legends community is just bad in general.
Okay,
but I'm an asshole.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. But there are other community.
No, it's
other
special.
communities have had.
League of Legends is special. They're just awful in general. No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Brayden, that's kind of what I meant when I was saying it's like intimidating, because you go in as a noob and it's like, oh, well, if I didn't pick it up on day one, I'm boned. I can't compete.
So, outside of League of Legends, there's this weird problem when you are playing against someone who's new, or someone comes into a meetup who you haven't seen before, and maybe they're new to the whole thing, and it's like, do you take it easy on them, or do you not? Or you avoid trash talking because that's rude usually in general, unless you're used to it with a specific person like me and Brody. Your puff sucks. No, kidding. But like, what do you do? Because then it's like, if you try and soft glove it, you're pandering and you're treating them rudely, right? But if you go super hardcore, then you might give the wrong impression, and you sort of have to judge and gauge based off the person, right? You want people to have a good time, but you don't want to belittle them, right?
Yeah.
But none of those have to do with like trash talking someone and being hostile.
So I'm just saying that actually adds to the fact that like when you do have a large amount of the community that isn't necessarily bad, they might still accidentally give off that impression, right? They don't know how to. It's not as easy as like tabletop gaming, where it's very easy to guide people into it and to bring them up to speed and stuff. When it comes to video games, it's usually a lot harder to get the right impression. Plus, generally, people who play video games a lot end up being more socially awkward. But maybe that's just me.
Well, and to continue on the social media point, it also sort of exposes what people consider cool and uncool, and sort of how that's treated. I can see how playing certain games or enjoying certain things can really alienate you even harder now that social media exists in the way that it does.
Yeah, like uncool things like League.
Yes, it's very uncool. I mean, luckily we
Me
live.
and girl playing online in 2000. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, I loved like the voice filters you could get to change your gender and stuff. Those are great.
Yeah,
I am
well,
a robot.
it's I basically to close that off. My main point is that is just that social media has sort of accentuated what is cool and uncool, and I think that's sort of the hostility of the community sort of bars new players off and sort of gives them no incentive to even try getting into this. And then my other point would be that games are getting incredibly long, like kind of brutal sometimes.
Right. Back in the day, RPGs were the long games. Everything else was actually comparatively short. We just generally sucked at video games as children. Like, really sucked if you actually think about it. Like, Mario Brothers shouldn't take you more than like an hour and a half when you really play it hard.
Yeah,
but
really.
when you're kids, you play that shit forever because you suck at it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it also has to do with like the amount of games too. Like, you know,
Definitely.
Back in the day, you play one game over and over and over again because that's the only game you had. Right? So
You didn't have a Steam library constantly downloading new shit.
For example, I have at least 5 games that have just been sitting there doing nothing. Like I beat like the first few levels and then for some reason I move on. And I think that can be kind of a problem when a game doesn't hold my interest for long playing.
Yeah, I think
some reason.
Well, that's the other thing too is that a lot of games have had a lot less emotional value for me, like emotional connection. Like I can't.
Absolutely.
I don't have enough investment in it. Like, you know, Call of Duty games are fun. They're addictive because psychologically that's the way they're built. But emotionally, there's no real investment besides what I make about it and my friends in the online community. Where there are a lot of games like that. Whereas a lot of the older games, you know, there were new things, there were new characters, new situations you'd never seen before, and it was easy to get invested into it. The same, you know, you've seen so many people how invested into like Final Fantasy VII, right, and just emotionally connected to a lot of the
Piece of shit game.
Everything.
Oh, shots.
Just because Zach isn't here.
Shots.
Just 'cause he isn't here.
Oh, you're lucky Eric's not here too.
No. Damn it.
The last time I felt emotions was like Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
Was probably the last, and that was in 2009. That's 6 years ago. 6 years that a new game has not made me like care.
Okay,
really.
So very brief divergence. Have you ever noticed how much of a psychopath Drake is? How he like willingly murders a shit ton of people and like there's no emotion there, and he throws himself into situations that involve mass murder for profit. Like compared to even Lara Croft, he is like a huge psychopath. Like, oh my goodness.
I mean, like,
So
it's a good thing the game was good.
Jaden?
I was gonna say I'm a Drake fanboy here, so I'm gonna jump to his defense.
I like no as a character he's cool, but at the same time he is like so nonchalant about mass murder. It is amazing.
I guess that's
to be honest,
a funny way to look at it. Well, that's why they made Last of Us, is because they wanted to make a character in kind of that same image, but like different. Whereas it was a lot more nitty gritty. When he killed someone, you felt it.
Yeah.
You felt that neck crack. You felt that person screaming because they're on fire. Like you felt that. Whereas they pointed out themselves that Drake just kind of like he just he run block punch a guy in the face. Damn it, that hurts my hand, right? Like he just makes a joke about it.
Well, actually, Last of Us is a game that is an exception to my point about games not having emotional attachment. I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it would affect people.
You'll cry.
So apparently the start of Ori and the Blind Forest is like super emotional.
I just watched the intro for that game. Didn't even play it. Just watched it, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, like apparently it's like up.
Uh-oh.
I need to play
That's the saddest intro known to mankind.
Yep.
I think it's one of the best movie intros of all time, but that's about movies and not about games.
Apparently
so I
it's
can't
that emotional for the first part of the game.
Yeah.
Crying thinking about it.
And that's what I think we need, and that kind of brings me back to the earlier point not my point, it was Adam's point of giving developers more creative control and freedom, over what they're making, because you're not going to get that kind of stuff. That's why you see that kind of stuff coming out of indie development. Like one of my most emotional games I've ever played.
And Japanese developers, don't forget.
Yeah, there you go. And one of my most emotional moments I ever had was playing Flower, right? Like it was just an amazing. It may not do something for everybody, but for me it was just an amazing experience to have. But that's something you're only going to get from a small company at this point, because there's no big hand controlling them from the top saying, all right, we need this many kill points on the screen at this time, and like it's like if it was controlled by like Activision or something, every time you picked up a pedal, you would have gotten like a plus 10 point coming up over the top. A leaderboard, a leaderboard in the side corner there, and then as soon as you get to the end level, pay $3 to unlock the next level or something, right? Like it wouldn't be that same experience. But you got that kind of that weird, like they made a game out of being a flower. You wouldn't have gotten that had it been one of those bigger time companies. So
absolutely,
it definitely proves your point. Yeah, that a lot more creative freedom needs to be given to the developers that are actually making the game for these companies.
Just a quick interlude. There is a game that came out recently. I think it's called Grow or something like that. I can't remember. You grow upwards to move your little player character up towards the sky, and like you're growing this massive structure. I can't remember the exact name, but you might be interested in it.
There's one who was like Goo, World of Goo or something. Is that it?
No, this is like in the past month.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I'll have to look it up. I'm looking like a scrub. I'm sorry.
A brief interjection, because I know we want to move on from this, but there's a concept in macroeconomics called the invisible hand. So
Adam
it's basically
Smith.
it's
That's the guy
basically
who made that theory. Sorry.
yeah. It's basically that that if the government sort of sits back, then economic problems will fix themselves. And I think that's something that gaming companies should try to start employing, and sort of let the developers be the developers and stop letting the shareholders and the controllers shoehorn in concepts that are proven popular.
I want to say Valve Software, but it's been a long time since they actually released a game on their own.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
4 years, I think. 4
Valve
years.
used to be that way. They definitely used to be that. It worked out for them very well.
Yeah, they still have the same ideology. It's just, when's the last time they've released a real game?
Well, was Dota not under their control?
No, that wasn't them. They hired Ice Frog and they let him have his own developers to build it.
Oh, okay.
And then CS:GO, they had Turtle Rock do that.
Okay.
Yeah, the last true Valve game was like Portal 2, I think.
Yeah, which was originally built off a college student's project.
Well, Portal was, but
Yeah.
Portal 2 was completely in-house, you know.
True.
Half-Life 3.
Oh, you haven't heard Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, it's not on the docket, but like, there was an article recently, a podcast with Gabe Newell and a couple of others, where they're like, they sort of hint at how people don't want the kind of single-player experience anymore. They didn't say Half-Life 3 canceled, but You draw your own conclusions.
Well, it's just been a running joke in the industry, so.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem Forever was a running joke, and then it died a joke.
I think with Half-Life 3, you're going to see something more along the lines of a co-op adventure, or a persistent online experience.
You know what? Alex and Gordon, I could
Probably.
do. Alex and Gordon co-op, I could do that.
I have yet to play Half-Life at all, so I'm gonna step back.
Let Alex Vance be a playable character. That would be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I think we'll see something more along the lines of a persistent online world.
No!
Kind of along the lines of you look at like Dark Souls or something like that, where people can kind of just join into your world.
That's not persistent online world though. That's just multiplayer. It's cool though.
Yes, maybe I used the wrong word, but
sorry to distract once again. The name of the game I was thinking of is called Grow Home by Ubisoft.
Grow Home.
Yes, it's actually, if you look at videos, it's really cool.
And that's one. Honestly, I mean, like, there's a lot of things they do wrong, but one company that still does really good with new IPs is Ubisoft.
They have a
But
weird.
then there's Uplay.
No, there's a lot of stuff with Ubisoft I don't like, but I can agree with that.
Uplay works on consoles.
Yeah, I have no issues on consoles at all.
But yeah, Uplay actually has a great thing where the achievements you earn in game get you points to buy DLC with.
And that's a point I brought up in a podcast way back, that I love Uplay. I think it's great, but I've only experienced it on console.
Yeah, on PC it's broken software generally, in my opinion. But yeah, Grow Home is an example of this weird like pseudo indie thing Ubisoft is doing, like with Child of Light as well. It's pretty cool.
I was just gonna say Child of Light, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a testament to show that a large company, like one of the big ones,
they can do it.
Can still make new creative ideas and games, and not stick to a formula, and still be successful with it. Right?
They can do it. It can be done.
It's not like the reason stockholders are saying no, we need this kind of game, is because that's the only way they'll make money. No, they'll make money otherwise. It's just like this is the guaranteed way.
So
no risk taking. Really.
I don't think they trust risks anymore.
No.
So I'm gonna let you in on a secret here. A secret with companies in any industry in general, humanity really. There's this process that occurs, this thing that gets ingrained in the human mind that we can't do this because of something, right? You can't do this. You just can't do it. It's not done. And people start thinking, like, we can't just make a new game. Like, it's not allowed. But nobody actually looks into things to see, well, why isn't that allowed? Is it actually allowed? And it turns out you can actually often just go do it. Just do the thing. I think this is part of the problem with many corporations, is that generally people in management positions and elsewise who have a good idea, they get the idea that, well, we can't do it, right, because it's not allowed, but they don't actually look to see, is it explicitly not allowed? It's more of a self-defeatism that occurs before an idea gets off the ground. And I think getting over that is the first important step that most game companies have to take. Mm-hmm. Sorry for that soapboxing.
No, it makes sense. Like, really, what isn't allowed in games, though? It's like if it's considered an art, like what boundaries is it actually held in by?
You don't go AO because Walmart won't sell it. That's what's not allowed.
I guess, but there's so many other ways to, like, you look at EA with Origin. They have their own way to sell their games now. They don't need retailers anymore, right? To push. I mean, like, it helps obviously a lot. A lot of people still buy their games, but like Sony with their own store on the PSN, a lot of people buying digital now. Like, it's going to come to the point they're not going to be reliant on retailers to sell their games.
Not there yet, though.
But still, in theory, it's still in the future. I think retailers are still an important part of the industry right now.
Yeah. So ESRB participation and like PEGI and stuff like that, I think they still regard that as relatively important. Like EA, and I can't say this like with some internal knowledge or anything, but just from an outsider's view, I think that things like ESRB ratings are still regarded highly. Like recently, Google said that they're now having ratings on mobile apps through PEGI and ESRB. So I think the influence of those organizations has grown to be more important than just here's what you need to get into Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I personally, kind of semi-related, like the PEGI system a lot better.
Yeah, it's more flexible. Sarah, you are making that e-cig look really, really enticing.
Sales market.
Just for you.
Sales. Yeah, no, I on the point of digital sales, and I think like Eric would be one to agree with me. I still need to have the game in my hand. I'm personally one of those persons that where like to make the sale to me, you're still reliant on the retailer.
I agree with that.
Like I don't. It's just an OCD thing. I like to have it in my hand. I don't like the thought that if the servers that hold that go down permanently ever, I don't have access to that game anymore. You know, if I buy a new system, but Sony's down, I can't. Like if Nintendo goes out of business right now, I can still play all my GameCube games because they're there.
There's
Yeah,
still
that's-
sort of that
Brody,
laziness in like I just want the game now. I don't want to wait until I can go out and get it.
Yeah, I was just gonna
So-
say I impulse buy so many games through digital download. Just like, oh, it's only
It's
$10.
true.
I
It's
don't have
it's
to
a
get off my couch.
big part of it.
Brody, that's true, but within 20 years, your optical discs will be no longer readable, whereas the digital title theoretically could still be downloaded and played on an emulator, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all has to do, like, the game will probably always be accessible one way or another. It's just how you can get it, whereas if I'm in my house right now and I just want to play a game right away, pop it in, I can do that, whereas other game, like digital versions, maybe it's like I owned this game 3 years ago, but I got a new PlayStation or a new Xbox. I have to re-download it now, install all the patch updates, and then I can finally play it. And that's only if that company that's hosting those files are still around, right? So I'm looking at worst case scenario. What if one of these companies goes down, none of these servers are around anymore? You can't get that game anymore, right?
I guess
even
so,
Though
but
even though I paid for it, I've already paid for it. I can't get that game anymore.
At the same time, like by the time we get to the point where that's necessary, I'm sure technology will have advanced to a certain point.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm really okay with. I mean, right now it's not good enough. There's too much latency with streaming games. You look at On Live or PlayStation Now. There's still too much latency that if I wanted to play a game competitively, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe a casual like puzzle game here and there, like that'd be fine. But I think once they stream like that and get that perfect, game streaming is where I'll be going to. So I'm totally down for paying a monthly rate to be able to play whatever games I want, like Netflix.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more pay for the service than buy the individual game
Yeah.
that you will only have a 1-year license to for $60.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the way it needs to go though, to be able to back on the the industry evolving, to make it more accessible to people. That's what needs to happen. You need a Netflix for video games.
If we had viewers right now, like enough, you would have nonstop email flooding because you just said that we need to go towards temporary licenses for games. Wait. We've basically flipped around
Very
from you
controversial.
wanting the physical thing in your hand to you accepting a temporary digital item.
Right now.
Get wrecked.
No.
Get wrecked.
Right now,
Wrecked.
I want the game in my hand because there's no good alternative to it.
But having a temporary digital license that is guaranteed to expire is better than that?
Yeah, because I think in my mind the way it works is that when I buy the game, I'm attached to the ownership of the game, right? When I buy Grand Theft Auto, I'm attached to owning that game. I, in my head, own that game. Whereas if I have a subscription service, it's the same with DVDs. With Netflix, I'm not attached to any of the movies I watch. Like I don't own that movie. I'm just watching it. Same with the games.
So Brody, perhaps you missed my example, but like this isn't just having. It's not going to be you just having a subscription, right? As indicated with the Shield service, you're going to pay for the subscription and then pay the $60 to get the game. The difference is your license will not be permanent.
No,
like
see, that's what I'm saying. I don't want that. What I think needs to happen.
Right. So that's what you're getting.
You pay, I don't know, let's say $150 a month. You get access to like maybe 10 games, and then you can pay on top of that. Like that would be a good service. Whereas you get the ability to jump into a game quick, right away, no loading. Like it's ready to go. You don't have to install anything. I'm not attached to the title of owning that game because it's just like, all right, I paid for the service. Now I can play whatever I want. Sweet, GTA just came out. I'm gonna play GTA now. Oh, I'm over GTA. I'm gonna go play something else. I'm not attached to owning that title anymore, and I also don't. I'm not gonna feel obligated to. Like a lot of times I get stressed out with how many games I have because I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to finish this game. I have to finish this game. With this, I can just jump in. I think that's what the industry needs to make it more accessible to anybody. Whereas anybody can be like, all right, I'm gonna pay this flat rate. I can play whatever games I want. And then it's like, all right, I don't want it anymore. I don't have a clutter of video games in my house. I don't want to pay for this anymore. I'm not paying for any games. That's it. I had my fun. Or they may get hooked and continue paying for the service. Right. I think that's what it needs to
and I think I actually do think that the whole thing on Steam of everyone having 1,000 games in their library that they never play actually greatly lends credence to how you think things should be or how they'll go. I'm just kind of doing a bit of an asshole devil's advocate thing here.
Oh, fair enough.
Right. So I guess if no one has anything else, do we have something next to talk about?
The main topic.
We got our topics.
Do we have a topic? Oh my god.
Well, quick think. We have. We're gonna go through our each of us were asked to have in preparation for this podcast our top 3 most influential games to ourselves. Games that maybe changed the way we view games. Just we had a great connection to, or just kind of changed, or meant a lot to you in the industry. So we'll go through on our third each, then down to our second, and then do each of our first. We'll go down the line.
Does this have to be safe for work?
No. If
we're rated 18 plus, don't worry.
He's going Newgrounds on us.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
So there's this
Let's go Newgrounds.
Sengoku Rants. It's quite good. No, I don't.
Okay, so if you want a few seconds to think through your list, then Adam, we'll start at this side here.
The ordering is different.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm at the end. So what's actually being broadcast is different. So I'm just going to go in order I feel like. We're going to start on Sarah then. If you can give us your number 3 most influential game to you.
I have a problem because I have 4.
All right, that's fine. Give us 4 and 3.
Okay. So the ones that unfortunately were at the bottom of my list were Super Mario 3 and Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire list is kind of symbolic of all of the different things I love about gaming. So Super Mario 3 was like the very beginning, kind of tied with Super Mario World actually. I'm at 5 now. But it was the intro, they're at my grandparents' house on a Super Nintendo. I never had one, but that was what I played. So that was the beginning and started my obvious love for Nintendo. So that's kind of, I represent the Nintendo fangirl in this podcast. So I felt like that was important to note. And who doesn't love Mario? But Ocarina of Time, also a bit of a cop-out because everyone loves it because it's awesome. But that one, what that was for me, because I was still pretty young when that came out, that was all about adventure. You had this giant world of Hyrule that you could explore on Epona. Awesome. And, it's just, there was so much to experience. The graphics for the time were mind-blowingly awesome. It was just such a enveloping world, so it really sucked me in. So those are Nintendo in general, and the idea of exploration and adventure is what I got from those games.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. Good
It's-
intro, basic.
I feel like it's not too much to just say like, oh, it's just a cop out or a cheating. If a lot of the games a lot of people like are for a reason, right? It changed a lot of the way a lot of people look at stuff. So that makes sense. Braden, I think I saw you had 2 or 4 as well.
Yeah, it's because one of them that I thought of involves spoilers, and I wasn't about that on the podcast. I'm not sure what the rules are on that.
Okay.
Quick interrupt. Are we going to try to contact Eric, at least for this segment?
He said he had to leave at 8:30, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
leave.
gotta be going.
I think maybe what happened is whatever it was came up a little sooner than it was supposed to.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think he's out. He just left his computer there.
Sarah, go grab Zach.
You don't want to see that, no.
Oh,
So his box
okay.
his hair.
Wish him well.
All right, Braden. Hit us then with at least the title of it. You don't have to spoil anything.
The title is Devil May Cry. It's not a story-heavy game, but I'm
Was that Devil May Cry 1?
3.
3? Okay, fucking good. 1's good too, but I mean...
1 and 3 are the good ones. 4 is okay. 2 is crap, and don't even talk to me about DMC.
Dude, you gotta check out Special Edition. It's actually... Oh, not Special, sorry. The remaster.
That's what I'm playing.
It's playable.
Yeah, Devil May Cry 3. Yeah, that's
No, I mean the new one. They remastered it. They just released the remaster. It's actually playable.
Well, I don't care because Dante is stupid and
Yes, he
everybody's
is.
stupid.
Okay, sorry for interrupting. Go on.
I can try and give the most spoilery version of that I can, but it actually is about the final boss battle.
Stinger!
All right, here we go. We're hashtag spoilers. Anybody listening right now, give us 2 minutes. If you don't want to hear it, mute us for 2 minutes. Here's some spoilers. Go.
Sparta!
So, at the end of the game is about basically you find the discovered main enemy, and he's a giant monster, as you'd expect from a game like Devil May Cry. He's a giant, and he does crazy underworld hell stuff. And then when it's finally over, you're like, okay, that's got to be the end. That was a final boss battle. And then it's like, no, that's not it. You end up going down to hell to fight your brother that you just fought with your brother to take down the big monster that is a typical final boss. And the final boss is just straight up you versus him in a ring, and it's nothing else. It's just 2 people in a sword fight.
Gameplay!
That for some reason just hit me so much harder than any giant epic boss battle ever has. My favorite thing for games and movies and everything to end off
Dead.
with in the game mattered in this one final sword fight that had no cinematics, no crazy stuff. It's just you versus him, like really downplayed music, almost silent basically. And for some reason that had a big impact on me.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? I feel like you may have gotten the same feelings then, is the new Smash Bros. Game. At the end of after beating Master Core.
Yeah, I that on a much smaller. That's true as well.
I think.
Like,
sorry, go on.
Well, the thing about the final boss battle, Virgil is the character. The thing about the battle with Virgil is that he throughout the whole game, he's been there, and you fight him in this bare bones way, and it was really a really hard fight. It took me like 20 tries on hard mode. It was an insane fight. It was a really good fight, and there was nothing to it other than a sword fight.
Get motivated.
See, now if that was any of these new gamers trying to get in, they would have given up before they even got to that.
No, they would have played against Phantom.
I think so, because that game is so freaking hard. That game is so hard on the higher difficulties.
They would have made it to Phantom, given up, came back, given up, came back a couple more times, and would have won, and then moved on.
They probably would have got to the first boss, the boss in the second level. They would have gotten to that and they would have quit because that boss is harder than most of the rest of the game. And I feel like it was just like an initiation. It's like, you want to play this game, you got to beat this
Motherfucking Hideki Kamiya.
hard ass boss. But that's a divergence. Basically, that's what I had to say about Devil May Cry 3. Is that it took what is usually it's supposed to be like an epic, large ending with giant cinematics and big fanfares, and turned it into something that was pure emotion.
Fair enough. Sweet.
And should I say 3 as well if I have 4?
Yeah, I may as well do it now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes. Yes. Said yes.
Yeah. Did you have something to say?
No. Do you? I said do your third one.
Oh, sorry, I must have cut off or something. Yeah. Okay. So my other one is Mega Man X, and playing. Do you want to say that to the viewers or anything? Basically, that game sort of helped me. Mega Man X sort of helped me discover the semantics of game design. Like, I was always interested in game ever since I was a kid. I always wanted to make games. I always wanted to come up with stuff like that. But I just lost it. Oh, but like I never understood how deep it went, how deep game design could go, and it was playing Mega Man X and watching a video from a guy called Ego Raptor, and he sort of went into how deeply designed this game was, and like really down to the lowest possible level, down to the game, because it taught you about this one like very specific thing, like you can't go left, you have to go right, and that therefore teaches you how to go right, and very specific stuff like that is stuff I'd never thought about, and that's just sort of changed the way I view games, like all the time. I'm always looking that deep into the analysis of it now, and that's basically what I have to say about that. It basically changed my perspective and how I look at games overall.
Fair enough. Yeah, was that Sarah? Was that the one that Zach was showing us?
Yeah, I forget the name of the YouTube video. Oh, Sequelitis
Yes.
does a great segment on Mega Man X and explaining just how brilliantly designed it is. Based on just the first level, you are forced to learn the mechanics, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you don't need a 45-minute tutorial. You just trial and error, go for it.
Yep.
Yeah. The real shocking part is how bad Ego Raptor seems to actually be at 2D games.
Yeah.
Like, there's a video of him like trying to show his skills with Mega Man in private, and like just fucking shit in the bed. Like, he was probably drunk, so I'll give him that. But,
It's a good
Well,
video.
yeah,
Watch it.
play games on stream.
Even on Game Grumps, they're terrible. They're notoriously bad at
That's
those
it.
games.
His points are all valid. His points are all great.
Yeah, very much.
Fair enough. All right. We're gonna move on to Adam then, if you're ready. Your number 3 most influential game.
All right. Honorary mentions to Elite Beat Agents for proving that music still lives.
I love that game so much.
It is the best game of all time. No, I'm not kidding. That's the best game of all time. That's it. Gaming is done. But no,
Lost my copy of that game. So much fun.
I'm gonna do a bit of the more emotional thing here. So I think I'll go number 3. I'll go Pokemon Red, and that's just personally influential because that was my childhood time sink on my original brick Game Boy that I got as a belated birthday gift long after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the kind of thing you took everywhere. You played in the park, you played in the middle of nowhere, you played in the back of the car trying to position yourself under the passing street lights to get that little bit of light to see what the hell you were doing. you leveled up your one character, your one Pokemon to 100 because you didn't understand the concept of leveling because you're a little baby Adam. Um,
My
my
Blastoise.
Blastoise. Yeah, exactly. Blastoise fucking rocked, even though it was Pokemon Red. Blastoise.
Yeah.
But and then fucking weirdness of Mewtwo. But yeah, so that'd be number 3 because that one got me through elementary and like introduced the basic mechanics of all of modern gaming. The entire everything in modern gaming and mobile gaming is Pokemon, basically. So I think that's the number 3 for me.
That makes sense. I have to agree.
Oh.
Pokemon Blue was like that for me.
It taught me not to bequeath things of other people to family members, and that is a story for another day.
Tune in.
It sounds like a sad story.
That is a cost me money if I actually had money when I was young, so it didn't cost me money because it didn't have any story.
One thing I've always loved about Pokemon is how like it feels unique every time you play through because you always have a different team, and you sort of connect yourself to those characters in the least creepy way possible. Like, yeah.
You just battle them till they die. It's not creepy at all.
So, I kind of have a tie for number 3 too. I just kind of thought about this, but sorry to cut this. I guess same with Sarah, Ocarina of Time in that, or sorry, not Ocarina of Time actually. Majora's Mask would be the one here in that I got the game and me and my sister were kind of like idiots in, I guess, elementary school, then going into junior high, and just kind of like not getting our assignments done and staying up late on a Sunday watching cartoons and playing Majora's Mask, and then her getting really excited when I found something, and it was like it kind of brought into perspective the kind of social aspects and the multiple congratulatory aspect of having other people with you when you accomplish something in games, and how people can share in these emotions you gain and these experiences at the same time, even if they're not the ones accomplishing it. That's what that sort of meant to me. So that was my alternate number 3.
Yeah.
That was like my brother and I in Ocarina of Time. We played that together. You know, we would take turns and we experienced it together.
Oh,
It's really cool.
so me and my sister found like a used versus guide for Ocarina of Time that had 2 posters left in it, and that was the best thing ever. The best.
That's
Just
so awesome.
That makes sense. Yeah, and man, you guys keep speaking of games, and I'm like, man, my list just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
I think 3 was a little bit generous.
Yeah, I don't know. Pokemon Blue, to me, story with that, my gaming relationship with my brother didn't start off very good. I had a Mew, and I traded it to my gold version. He deleted my save file, so I didn't get it back to my blue version. So I was upset with that.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating as a 12-year-old.
Well, now you should, but...
Yeah, so anyways, let's see. It's tough. I got a few. I guess I'll start a quick mention onto my relationship with my brother with gaming. As we played Resistance Fall of Man a lot on the PlayStation. In fact, that's what really got me interested in Q&A when it comes to game development, is because there were so many ways to exit a level, break through walls, things you weren't supposed to do. And me and my brother would actually spend hours upon hours. Instead of playing the game, we'd try to beat one level that should take 20 to 30 minutes within about 5 minutes, just through it was kind of speed running, I guess, now that I think about it. But we just try to break the game as much as we could, online and single player, whatever. And we would spend hours and hours. So spending that much time with my brother just doing stupid stuff trying to break a game it showed me how a game can be shared. It's not just something you can play by yourself. And this was kind of the start, I guess, of online gaming more so. I was getting into it, but I say that one ties a lot with my third place one, which is Halo Combat Evolved. That's what really started me into competitive gaming. If it wasn't for that game, I who knows if I would be this into my competitive gaming. I would sit for hours and hours and just play online, just trying to be the best, get to first place in the lobby, beating all these other people, and then going to school a few years later. We'd play it in class, and I'd find out that my friends were better than me, and I'm like, what? I thought I was good, and so it really got me into that competitive mindset, and that's obviously had a huge impact on what I'm doing now with the Let's Play stuff. Is just I'm built around having fun with gaming, but competitive, and it's just as a gamer, it's kind of part of my identity. So that was a huge part in my life.
So you could say you were trying to be the very best, like no one ever was.
But then I realized I was a scrub.
I think that's generally how it goes. Sorry to interrupt, but you might hear a loud noise from my side here. Just let me know if it gets too loud.
Okay. Worst case.
No clapping allowed.
Worst case scenario, I just mute him, and then
good idea.
Yeah, so that'd be my number 3 there then, and that would put us back to Sarar. What is your
indeed.
Rawr.
2?
My number 2 is Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
It holds kind of like chronological value as well as kind of meaning as well, because the first console that was ever actually in my house was a PS2, so late joiner in my house. I had to live through other friends and things, but the one game I got was FF10, and I got the manual, which I actually proudly still own, super water damaged. It's awesome, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I didn't even get past the Chocobo Eater for the longest time, and that's like so early on. But it was really meaningful because FF10 was the first Final Fantasy to have voiceovers, like voice acting.
Okay.
And visually, similar to what I said with Ocarina of Time, like that world was so visually stunning, and with the sound, like the voice acting, it was so immersive, and the story is like so heart-wrenching. So that was one that just it was meaningful because it was kind of like a marker along the timeline, but it is the beginning of my love of like really story-driven games and being emotionally attached to them.
Mm-hmm. So it was one of like your first full experiences then.
Yeah, like a serious like sit down play an RPG, because I was only 11 I guess when it came out. So that's really fresh to be playing such an in-depth game like that.
Kidding.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my first experience with like being that in depth to a game that was probably Star Ocean, and I was 15 at the time, so I can't even imagine like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
That'd be intense.
But it was just like something I couldn't even imagine, like summoning these awesome creatures down from the sky and getting them to fight for you, but you have to go through a temple to earn it. Like, that game is beautiful. Just play it if you haven't. There's a nice remaster. Just do it.
Do it. All right. Braden, after you play FF10, tell us your number 2.
I probably won't play FF10 because I'm not big into Final Fantasy. I'm sorry. But my number 10, I've been talking about it as much as possible, but it's actually Smash Brothers Melee is going to be my number 10. I would actually probably even put the whole Smash Brothers series on there because the other games are for the two things that make this game so influential to me is that I had been playing that game, and then suddenly I discovered that it exists in a whole different way that makes it not even remotely the same game. And that is sort of a testament to something that I think is missing now in games, is that like back then Brody, you spoke on Q&A and glitches in games, and I find that very entertaining, but it seems that games like Melee probably won't almost ever exist again, because we
have patches.
Yeah, we'll have patches, and with technological advancement, we can catch. They would have caught something like exploit or something like that. They may have caught that and sort of put the hammer down on that and been like, no, we're maybe that could be a problem. And also like with Pokemon as well, like glitches in the first generation of Pokemon never gonna exist again, but they're so entertaining, and that's something I'm gonna miss.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for you to say the wave dashing is a glitch or an exploit, and I was gonna physically punch you through the screen.
Wave dashing was a glitch. It was just intentionally left in.
Was it a glitch though, or was it just?
Yes, it was a glitch.
I think it was an exploit.
No, it was a glitch that they discovered quite early, and they added a little meter for and decided, might as well leave this in.
Yeah.
Whereas L canceling was actually an intentional mechanic.
Yeah, that was an intentional mechanic.
That was, but things like I'm thinking more along the lines of things like
Samus's. It's just the first
Samus's extender, like, when you know how you can extend her grab.
Right.
Her thing.
Oh,
that was a developer. That was a developer thing that was left in. I'm pretty sure I read is that it was meant for development purposes, but they accidentally left it in.
Yeah. And that's sort of one of the reasons that game matters to me, is because it feels like a game that's never done, a game that can be changed to something totally different. It feels like games are what they're meant to be, and they're never going to be anything else, sort of these days. And I sort of miss the old sort of like they can be interpreted however, I kind of miss that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then the other reason that game is so influential to me is just because of the scene, and
I like how you cut
the second biggest thing that happened in my life, because it provided me with so many friends. It provided me with a big hobby. Sometimes confidence boost, sometimes confidence wavering. But mostly the amount of people I've met doing it has mattered a lot to me, because it came to me in a time that I was low on friends. And
here's the thing: would we know you right now if it wasn't for Melee?
No.
Ooh, shots fired.
You wouldn't.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Melee. Yeah, and that's why Melee is so great. Like I can understand why that'd be an influential choice for you, 100%.
And now we're even friends outside of that. But it was Melee that brought us together.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't have nearly the amount of friends that I have, and I wouldn't have gone through some or some unenjoyable times. I always had people to talk to, and that matters a lot.
Exactly. 100% agreed.
Bromance!
Woo!
All right, Adam, we're on to your number 2 then.
All right. I will have to go with Final Fantasy I on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Hype.
Like American one or Japanese one?
They're the same one as far as I know.
They are the same one. They divert. The timeline
After
diverges.
3, right?
It's basically they don't release Final Fantasy 2 and 3, and then they release Final Fantasy 4 as Final Fantasy 2.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Right, so received that game as a sort of weird gift from a relative that later ended up passing shortly after and stuff like that. But as a little baby Adam, I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing with that, so it was more that my dad played that game, and so I sort of a little bit of bonding watching him play and trying to interpret things and all that stuff, and then my playing when he wasn't looking and messing up his save file and that kind of fun. You learn a lot of tricky maths, trying to optimize things. You learn a lot of patience when it comes to grinding things out and being like, am I ready yet? No, or what do I need to do to get past here? And you learn to read a lot and pay attention to things, because that game was miraculously unclear if you don't pay attention to what the NPCs say. Like, man, it was almost a travesty how bad that was. But just happy memories and lots of lessons learned from that. I had a father who played a lot of like D&D and stuff, but I was way too young to understand any of that stuff. So that was like the closest I could come to interacting with that set of things. And so that's how that went.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so fun times, interesting childhood stuff. Messing up save files is always fun. You learn not to mess up save files and spend all the money on level 1 tents that can't be used for high-level characters and stuff like that. I'm helping. Also, that the best final boss is the one that can use all the high-level spells in the game. That's important.
Oh, of course.
And I guess that's all I have to say for that. So
That's okay. That's all she wrote. All right, I guess that brings me to my number 2.
Oh yeah, right. Red Mage,
of
best
course.
mage, motherfuckers. Red Mage, best mage. Fuck your white mage, fuck your black mage, red mage, best mage. He's a swashbuckling motherfucker.
I have no idea what it's referencing.
Red mage, motherfucker.
That's the way you say it. Okay, I'll try again. My number 2. I got a tie again. More because this one's more of emotional side. I'm a little baby with my emotions. So I tend to get caught up in games that I can connect very emotionally to. And my 2 games, as I mentioned before, was Flower was one of them. Flower kind of, my buddy's here now. He's giving me the thumbs up. Flower kind of, it opened my eyes to what a game could actually be. I had these preconceptions of what a game was. There's ultimately this end game, like it was written out. This is what you're trying to achieve. You need to do what the game tells you to do. Whereas Flower, yeah, there was an end point to each of the levels, but it was more of kind of given that whole, it's not about the destination. It's how you get there. It's the journey that matters. And it was Journey, one of their other games. It was interesting to see that a game could almost be built off emotion. Right, the whole game kind of represented emotion, and it was really cool to experience that. And it was beautiful, but it was by the end of it, I just kind of wanted to, just be there, just be in that moment, instead of worrying about what story it's trying to tell her. And it was just, I wanted to be in that emotion, and I felt it by the end. So it opened my eyes to what a game could really be, and for me, that's very influential because I was able to look at other games that are coming out now and have more of an appreciation for them. It kind of opened my eyes to more of the indie market. Before I'd look at games and be like, oh, that looks boring. Oh, that's a crappy animation style. But now I can actually go into the game and appreciate what they're trying to approach. Another game for me that had that emotional connection was Mirror's Edge, and it was at the time I was really big into parkour as well, and Mirror's Edge was just this minimalistic, beautiful game that was very I'm blanking on the word right now, but it had a great atmospheric. That's it. It was at points where you're just standing, looking out off a building and into the distance, and kind of having this this weird dystopia between this perfect clean world, but the government is so crap, and it was a really, really cool emotional experience for me, just because I could connect to it because I did parkour as well too. So that's why those 2 hit my my number 2 for sure, just because of the emotional connection. I really like games that can pull you in emotionally. I guess that brings us down to our number 1s then. Our number 1 most influential games. And Sarah's going to start us off.
Bum, bum,
She's the number 1 on the number 1s. Let's
Da-na-na-na.
Number 1.
So I've talked about this multiple times on the show, but I don't think our friends Brayden and Adam actually know this about me. So,
No.
my number one is Warcraft 3. I have my Frozen Throne disc actually right beside
OMG.
me
We
at
still
all
need to play.
times.
We still need to play.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. This game was the beginning of the end, is what I like to call it, because I would get home from high school, I would finish my homework, and then all I would do is play Warcraft 3. I was not into the ladder. Fuck what the actual game was meant to be. All I did was play custom games. So
Sheep tank! Sheep tank for life!
the beginning of the beautiful game you all know and love is Dota. Boom, Warcraft 3. And so many great tower defense games, which is a genre I'm waiting to see impress me again, and it hasn't yet happened. But Warcraft 3 was also good on an emotional level beyond just being my entire high school life and downfall into playing games. My brother and I, we had this cool phone system in our house. So he had his computer in his room with a phone, and I had my computer in my room with a phone. And this was like before we even knew Vent or anything existed. But we would telecom each other's phones, and we would play online, and we would fuck people up. And they'd be like, "Yo, how are they so in sync? They can't type that fast in private chat." And so I mentioned earlier how my brother and I played Ocarina of Time, and like my brother's one of my best friends, but like it brought us together. We grew up playing it, and it was a game that had endless possibilities. Like every time you log on, some user-generated content that you've never seen before is out there, and you get to experience it. Honestly, I've never come across anything that has drawn me in like Warcraft 3 did. I could go on and on about this game for hours, and Brody would probably be down with that.
I would listen.
But everyone else in the entire world would be like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was that like time in your life, and this was the like most mature one in my timeline because it was high school. Everything else was before that. But that was when I knew, frick, I really like playing games. For the social aspect, the creative aspect, the competitive aspect, it was all there in one game, and that is why it is number one.
Good choice. I have to agree with that one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that 100%. Like that game, first off, gave me an appreciation for RTSs, but yeah, as you mentioned, just the fact that you're seeing everyone's creative abilities. My brother started making maze runners, and I started seeing like the map editors he was doing. I'm like, this is really like it's obviously not game development, but it was almost on the side of like level creation.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to give gamers that tool to be able to make a game within the game. And it was a really, really cool concept that they had, and I loved that they did that. Great choice.
Brody, you can still totally download a lot of the maps, by the way. Like my computer from back then is long gone, but I played with my brother LAN a couple of years ago, and we were like, shit, we have no maps. And we were still able to find a lot online, so we totally could LAN it up.
Not gonna lie, I started playing just before I moved about half a year ago, and I went looking for some sheep tag maps, and I found a whole bunch. You can just download the file. I love sheep tag for life.
Yeah, oh, so many good ones.
All right. Now that we're done with the Warcraft 3 circle jerk,
fanboy.
We'll get on to Brayden's number one most influential game. Let's hear it, boy.
I'm gonna make it clear that I feel incredibly lame for saying this as my number one most influential game, but I would be lying if I said it wasn't. If I excluded it, I would be lying. And my number one most influential game of all time is Guitar Hero 3.
Nice.
Fair enough.
I was hoping for frog fractions.
What was that, Adam?
I was hoping for frog fractions.
I hate saying that because there's so many more games that influenced me, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't that, because my music taste, what I wanted to do with basically my entire life, and it led me in a path that I would never. It's in the same way as Melee. I would not be playing guitar right now if it wasn't for Guitar 3. I would not be a musician, and I have no idea where I'd be. It's because that's one of my most defining qualities is that I'm a musician and I like rock music, and that all came from Guitar Hero.
Okay, I feel like this is definitely a good choice for your number one. You doubted it at first, but I'd say this is 100% a perfectly valid choice. It changed the shape
of my
That's
entire
like the
life.
definition of influential.
Really, it is, and it's not influential in the game aspect. It's influential in like a entire life aspect.
Well, that's what we're going for. So that's 100% a good choice.
It was before that I didn't care much about music. I didn't realize I didn't care much about music because I always would play levels in games for music, but I never understood my passion for it that already was kind of ingrained in my brain, and I would just listen to the whatever pop crap my sisters were listening to, and it was as soon as I played this game that I'm like, this music is so much better than the crap I'm listening to right now, and it really changed me. Like now I'm a musician. I'm playing in a couple bands. I play shows. Like you guys know me as my gaming side, but my music side is a completely other person as well, and it's kind of I'm looking at my guitar right now as I say this. It's kind of funny to imagine just how much a game like Guitar Hero 3 affected my entire life, and that's why that's my number one.
No, 100%. That's a good one for sure.
Were you at our tournament?
I didn't know you guys existed, but I would have trenched you guys.
Yeah.
I would have destroyed you.
I don't know
prime.
Who ended up taking first. Was it William?
I don't think so.
No, Trillium got second place. I think was I third or?
I don't know. I'm pissed because I was second out of qualifiers, but then I got boned by random song choices.
Okay.
Trillium was fucking around too.
In my prime in that game, 83% Iron Flames. I did it.
Okay. This guy might wreck us. We're gonna have to have a Guitar Hero night. Actually, I'm down.
Rating blood.
I would need to go
and
play
those
the
were
game.
the two songs I got in random: Raining Blood and Fire and Flames.
Raining Blood is still one of... I can't do that one. But seriously, if you guys do a Guitar Hero night, I'm 100% down. Because I was playing expert guitar for months before I actually learned to play real guitar, and it's still kind of hard for me, but I can go back and still do it. So I want to do that.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll have to organize something here.
Definitely.
Sweet. Yeah, no, that's a good choice. Between Sarah and Braden, we've got some pretty good number ones. So I'm excited to see if Adam can upkeep this very influence.
All right.
Bringing on Newgrounds.
It would have to be the best. It would have to be Guitar Hero 2 because it's so much better than 3 in every single way. No. So.
Never played 1 and 2.
I love 2 so much more than 3, but it's all personal.
I like the song list better in 2, but the mechanics in 3 are better.
Well, then Judas Priest. But so no, that's not it. I'll have to go a little bit emo here and say Halo 2 for a surprise win here, in that it occupies such a massive slice of time and investment, personal investment, in that it's effectively filling a hole. It effectively filled a hole that's filled by things like Melee and LP right now and stuff like that, or general online gaming, where
we're filling
it's like, ooh.
I'll fill your hole any day, Adam.
Well, that's
18
recorded,
plus.
so.
This is for the after show.
Well, if it's 18 plus, then I'll just say Sengoku rants because that taught me that love can bloom on the battlefield. But no. So no. Basically, I met a lot of people in high school and went over and did traditional LAN parties with like 16 fucking Xboxes in the room with CRTs and all that shit, and meet a lot of people and invested way too much time and learned the perils of actually spending too much time on one thing when you like literally your body chooses not to function and you wake up like, oh shit, I collapsed on the floor. Oh, this is bad and shit like that. So learned a lot of that in high school and learned how people can mislead you or get you to trust them and all that stuff where they're just trying to take advantage of you, but then learned how you have to sort of shepherd other people into making proper life choices and not dedicating themselves to things because you've learned mistakes in the past. And a whole bunch of things like that in life that came out of just mistakes and way too much time invested in one video game.
Are you sure you're not talking about alcohol, Adam? It kind of sounded like you were
No,
talking
no.
about alcohol.
No, video games was a much more addictive drug at the time.
It's still a more addictive. Like, well, maybe it's because I
No.
don't like the taste of alcohol. I'm not old enough to legally drink
I have alcohol stories, but those are reserved for a later date.
it.
Again, the
After
after
show.
But yeah, so basically learned a lot of things in life, eventually moved on, and was introduced to other people with other interests through this one interest that led me in other directions and those kinds of things in life. So yeah, good times. Master Chief Collection sucks. The end.
Wrecked.
All right. So, well, I got some showing up to do.
Oh man,
I
Here
don't
we
know.
go.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to deliver.
Should have gone first.
I totally thought Mirror's Edge would be your number one, so I'm excited.
It was.
Smash Brothers.
It was, and then it changed. That's why I started doing like 2 for each. And then I realized that Adam is 100% correct. Melee has been one of the most I had no idea this would happen it's been a year, and I have no idea. Almost all the people I talk to and associate with now are from that community, and it's been unreal how much this game has impacted my life. Just not from just the game itself and how much time I've dedicated to playing it now, but from where it's led me, the side company Let's Play, and the opportunities that it's opened up for me and people around me as well too. So thanks to Sakurai, our Lord and Savior, for the game Melee, being able to open me up into just having the opportunity to run an esports company. I messed up huge at the beginning. We were just doing things not by standard, all this stuff. But the community was so forgiving and so into their game that they didn't care that we didn't do things by standard rules. Our rule set was so twacked that I was surprised people came back, and they did. Everyone's like, "Hey, this is the way we usually do it. Okay, you did that way. This is what we usually, just so you know." And they're just very easygoing about it, and they helped me, be like, "All right, well, next time we'll do this." And so we did it the way gamers wanted, and everyone came back. Like we had everyone coming back even more now, and it's just it's been able to help me kind of go towards my dreams of being able to do something. We're still working towards that, but like to have a profession that has something to do with esports or competitive gaming, and Melee is the one that opened everything up for me. Like my world's just kind of okay. You've done this, now here's the rest of everything. So it was Melee. That's why it's so influential. I don't know why I didn't have that on my list at first. It was only when Braden mentioned it that I realized, holy crap, I kind of lost perspective, I guess, of how much this game has influenced my life. So Hundo P on Melee. I'm still in your
Good
race.
lingo.
It got him out of the drug game. That's what matters.
Pretty much. Before I was selling cocaine, and now I'm selling cocaine in the form of video games.
Have I ever told you the story about how I came to my first LP?
No.
Murder.
Basically completely unrelated to murder. I was playing. I literally was playing Smash 3DS, and I'm just like, wow, this game is so cool. I was playing Up for Glory. I am so good at this game. Why can't we have tournaments in town? And so just for fun, sitting by the router or by my computer, I'm just like, Kitchener Smash tournament. One's coming up on Saturday, LP 17, and I think it was almost like fate because I got completely trashed like people destroyed me. I got beat by Frog and some other guy I didn't even know. It's only Smash 3DS, and then friggin' Joey beat me in Melee. Now I destroy him, but man, he beat me really bad in the casual bracket. but it was, and then at the same time at that tournament, I had a group of like 8 people who like were really good friends out of nowhere. I literally sat down and was like, "Yo, is there people sitting here?" And they were like, "No, I'm coming mid." And I sat down and it was just like instantly friends. I'm like, that was so easy. I have a bit of selective social anxiety in that think are better than me, but for some reason that just completely goes away, and I can just talk to anyone when it comes to Smash, for the most part. And it's LP that sort of led me to that, to have an event in town with people I can relate with, and that really helped me a lot through actually a pretty hard time. And I have to thank you personally for having stuff like that. You and Sarah and Zach and Joey for running events that I look forward to every week.
We just got emotional, and I think
Sorry.
it all comes down. No, that's okay. Thanks to Sakurai for giving us this godly gift that brings people together.
He didn't know he was giving us.
Yeah, it was just his soul completely encased in a game, and it was just good from the start. We would create the Bible of Sakurai. That's awesome. No, see, it's just unreal how much influence this game can have on someone, and just any game in general too. I mean, like, this is our game. This is the game that did it for us. It's just kind of cool overall in general how much games can have an influence on, no matter what it is, on anybody, right? So that's why I love gaming. It can literally change people's lives.
Yeah, like how League makes people into monsters.
Yeah, play Dota, people.
I'm sorry I'm playing League. I'm having fun. I am being
Oh, you play League? Everything you just said is invalid. Get out.
We're on the podcast. Eject button.
Yelling at us to pay attention. This guy.
Playing like
Holy.
yes.
No, I was just making a joke.
Like 2
Oh,
days ago.
sure you were.
I'm not gonna get that into it. I just all my friends are playing. I'm just like, might as well try it, I guess.
I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. So I just want to give a quick shout out to one other game that I think is not really like it's been good for me, but most influential to I think the world. There's been games like this throughout, but I think unless if you guys want to give a shout out to any games as well too.
That'd actually be a good idea. Maybe like a
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft has been one of the most influential games, I think, to just our society in general. You look at a lot of schools now are picking up this game as an educational tool. This is something that's being used to teach.
Never heard of that.
A lot of schools are picking up as an educational tool to help embrace kids' imagination and creativity, and give them the ability to think for themselves and create for themselves. And it's something that's just obviously everyone. I think every single person in the world has at least played Minecraft once. No, okay, that's an exaggeration. You're crazy. You're crazy.
I like
know what
Lego
it is, and you've
better.
probably seen videos.
Stay pure. Don't play that trash.
But
I
I
like
think
Lego.
it's Lego in video game form.
Not
And,
just a
Shout
hustler.
outs to Lego. But no, it's. I think Minecraft is. It's fair to say that it's been one of the most influential games on society in general. so huge shout-outs to Minecraft there. Do you guys have any other, before we sign off, any other games that you think that, in general, to the greater good of humankind, have what games that you
Newgrounds.com.
Let's go, Newgrounds.
Let's go, Newgrounds. Any game that have been influential to just...
Shout-outs to Monster Girl Quest for amazing art. That's right. That's fucking right. I said it. No, shout-outs to Platinum Games for not losing their luster, as they say.
Not losing their luster. Platinum. What do they do?
The best games. You'll have to research that on your own. That's all you need to know.
Doing it now.
I think. Can I say? Can I say one?
Go ahead, man.
I was thinking Modern Warfare, the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because that's sort of like gaming was already a thing, basically, but that sort of made online gaming cool. Like the idea behind gaming online before was that you were like a basement dwelling nerd with no friends, so you just play on the internet and trash talk people. But Call of Duty sort of showed people that it's like it's okay, it's cool, it's fun.
That anyone can trash talk people like an asshole.
Well, yes.
So a lot of people would argue that that's where gaming went wrong. Even though it was a good game.
Okay, but
agree,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that it changed it. It changed it a lot.
Yeah,
Influential, yes. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It was
If we're
very...
devolving at that aspect, then you have to say Candy Crush because.
Smash!
Oh no! Get out of here! No.
We're talking about devolving gaming, so.
Anything.
Have you heard of Game of War?
I've seen commercials with
Kate Upton.
Interface.
Kate Upton.
Kate Upton.
Kate Upton.
Boobs. I mean,
Look, Vegeta, it's a Kate Upton.
seriously, that's all that game is trying to sell by. But yeah, no, I guess fair enough. There's a lot of games, I guess, that have been very influential, whether good or bad.
League of Legends as well.
Yeah, well,
E.T.
I think that
Yeah, that was technically super influential.
E.T.
If we're how far are we
It
gonna
was
go back now?
Mythos.
5 out of 5 would play again.
Are we doing that Q&A thing? Is that a thing that's happening?
Yeah, we've had viewers, just no one's apparently wanted to discuss. They may be watching on YouTube.
Wait, is there an actual chat room for this thing that I'm not seeing anywhere?
There's a live Q&A that I have access to.
Just you.
Well,
No,
you guys can see
I
it,
can
but
see it too.
I can control it.
Where the hell is
And
this?
no one said anything. This is sad.
No, there's been viewers the whole time though, but
Oh,
again,
I want to
anybody
see
on
this. You
YouTube,
got me fucking blasting.
so anybody on YouTube, feel free to leave comments under the video. I try my best to respond.
Anyone on YouTube, describe how much of a nerd and a chode the Brody is right now. Go for it.
That was aggressive.
18
Listen,
plus.
we gotta spark something here.
18 plus. Let's go, Newgrounds.
I guess yeah.
All right, anyone on
controversy if you
YouTube,
want.
feel free to describe your first experience with Artificial Academy 2. Go for it.
Anybody on YouTube, feel free to pick
my
your
God.
most influential
Give me a
game.
second of this. Okay,
Right.
my turn. Anybody on YouTube, feel free to ignore them. Put your most influential games in the comments below the video, and make sure you just jump onto Google Plus, circle us so that you can see future videos of us. But I think we'll sign off now so that we all go get our Newgrounds fill.
Our Newgrounds fix.
Our Newgrounds fix. I guess I'll throw this back on just for the last minute here so you can see our links. Thanks for tuning in. I want to say thanks to our cast today as well for hanging out. So we'll go down the line and say thanks. Sarah, thanks for coming out and rejoining us.
So glad to be back, guys, and loving the new blood.
The new blood. Speaking of new blood, this is one of their faces right there. Braden Keynes, thank you for coming out and joining us in our conversation today.
Hope I can come back soon. Actually, this is a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of soon, what's that next week? Is that what I heard? Something like Monday?
I'll do something next week.
And beside him we got the ad block Adam with his crazy.
Remember, kids, always use ad block or uBlock. Don't support people based off of advertising dollars.
And that is our public service announcement for
Words of
today,
wisdom.
brought to you by Gamers Roundtable.
Do we have any ads? Do we have any? That's sad.
Hell if I can't see them.
Don't ask Adam. Don't ask Adam about that.
Oh, sweet. But yeah, thanks for coming out, Adam. It was good to have you. And hi, I'm me. I'm LeafX, host of the show. Once again, make sure you go on to YouTube.com, right under my face right there, YouTube.com/Gamers Roundtable Show. Follow or subscribe. That's the one. I'm thinking Twitch. Subscribe to our channel. You'll see all of our videos that we do live uploaded to the YouTube, the tubs of you, and you can watch them later and revisit your favorite moments. And also go on to Google+, follow us, +1 us, and circle us so you can see when we're posting all the time. I think we plan on doing this on Mondays at 7 p.m. EST. We'll be keeping you guys up to date. I'm trying to put together Twitter. I should probably do that. So you can follow us there. But for now, check us out on those social networks. And thanks for joining in. Feel free to join in the QA next time. And we'll see you next time. And as always, keep gaming hard.